State Secretary of Switzerland.
Monsieur le Président,
Mr. President, artificial intelligence has had a major impact on UN diplomacy over the past 2 years, and thus marked also Switzerland's term as an elected member of the Security Council. The impact of this technology on the maintenance of international peace and security is a pertinent and timely topic. We would like to thank the United States for organizing this event and the speakers for their insightful presentations. The spread of artificial intelligence is characterized by its extremely rapid pace and its profoundly disruptive nature. However, it is taking place within an immutable framework, that of public international law, including international humanitarian and human rights law. Switzerland strongly reaffirms that this existing legal framework is fully applicable to AI, as we have repeatedly emphasized. Furthermore, ethical considerations must also be taken into account. The Security Council must carefully consider the implications of AI for the maintenance of peace and security. In this regard, Switzerland would like to highlight 3 points. First, the Council must foster an inclusive discussion on AI governance. To make sure that artificial intelligence systems are safe, secure, and responsibly managed and worthy of confidence, effective rules are essential. Countries at the forefront of developing such systems are among the members of this Council. They have a particular responsibility. But the UN also provides a platform for ongoing dialogue that can ensure the interoperability of governance approaches around the world. To be effective, the meaningful inclusion of all stakeholders, state and non-state, is essential. With several resolutions, including in the military field, as well as the Global Digital Compact, the General Assembly has already begun to establish certain principles based on almost 20 years of UN experience in the digital field since the World Summit on the Information Society. This work is complemented by other initiatives such as the Responsible AI in the Military Domain Summit, REAIM. It is essential that this Council also articulate its perspective on inclusive governance in order to contribute to existing processes and deliberations. Second, artificial intelligence is an opportunity for more effective implementation of the Council's mandates. As a tool, artificial intelligence can facilitate the implementation of Security Council mandates. Switzerland organized an area formula meeting in May 2024 to illustrate this potential, particularly in the context of peacekeeping operations. In collaboration with the Geneva-based Diplo Foundation, Switzerland has realized an AI-based tool that facilitates access to and analysis of data from 10 Council meetings, with a particular focus on the new agenda for peace. Third, the Council must promote measures throughout the life cycle of AI systems to ensure that they are safe, secure, and responsibly managed. As a priority, the Council must better anticipate the impact of technologies such as AI on the maintenance of peace and security and act preventively. Switzerland organized a Council briefing in October 2024, as well as the publication of a presidential statement on this topic. In this statement, the Council expressed its determination to take more systematic account of scientific advances that could have an impact on international peace and security. At the heart of the development and use of artificial intelligence systems, human beings and their dignity must always be at the core of our concerns. Human rights due diligence and human oversight are two essential elements that must be taken into account. AI also has an important implication in the context of armed conflicts and humanitarian crises. With two exhibitions organized in collaboration with the ICRC, Digital Dilemmas and Deepfakes, Switzerland has used its council presidencies to raise awareness of this issue and the challenges it poses. In partnership with the UNHCR, Switzerland is committed to protecting forcibly displaced persons and humanitarian actors from digital risks such as misinformation and online hate speech. It is therefore exploring how artificial intelligence can help mitigate these risks, particularly in humanitarian contexts. Mr. President, the emergence and spread of technologies such as artificial intelligence have a profound implication for global peace and security. Switzerland is convinced of the importance for the Security Council to systematically address these developments in order to identify the necessary political responses and concrete actions. Switzerland is proud to have contributed ideas and impetus during its term of office as an elected member over the past 2 years. I thank you.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Gerber for his statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Malta.
Thank you, President. I begin by thanking you for convening and chairing this high-level briefing on this highly topical issue. I also thank the briefers for the valuable insights. The responsible development and use of AI require clear principles and international governance to uphold human dignity through ethical oversight and accountability. Ethical frameworks shared by all stakeholders are essential to safeguarding against harmful effects, including biases impacting marginalized groups. Safeguards to mitigate risks during the design, development, and deployment of AI systems must be integrated, ensuring they do not undermine information integrity and exacerbate digital divides. To ensure AI supports human dignity, ethical oversight must be embedded at every stage. National legislation should mandate principles like fairness, transparency, accountability, and gender equality while preventing discrimination. Human oversight must remain integral, preventing automated decisions from eroding individual rights. By prioritizing safeguards, we can create systems that serve humanity while minimizing risks. With the advancements of AI, also in the military domain, it would be relevant for the international community to reach consensus on the way forward on the discussions being held within a group of governmental experts on lethal autonomous weapons in Geneva, so as to have adequate regulation on autonomous weapons. Decades of research in AI have underscored key lessons. First, inclusive governance frameworks, such as UNESCO's AI Ethical Declaration, emphasize the importance of embedding ethical considerations into AI development. These frameworks ensure AI serves humanity without undermining it. Leadership from women in technology and governance is essential to ensure gender perspectives are included in all AI development. Second, prioritizing human judgment in AI systems reinforces respect for rights and addresses biases affecting underrepresented communities. Third, fostering transparency and accountability builds trust, ensuring alignment with societal values. Finally, capacity building and equitable, mutually agreeable technology transfer empower communities to benefit from AI advancements without compromising dignity. Governing AI depends on diplomatic efforts and consensus building, as seen in the Global Digital Compact. Collaborative efforts establish best practices for testing and help bridge digital divides and enhance security. International cooperation should also prioritize capacity building for developing countries. Empowering all states to participate in AI governance ensures fair representation and equitable access. The GA resolution on AI capacity adopted in July underscores the need for global collaboration aligned with the UN Charter and international law. Such collaboration should promote safe, trustworthy AI technologies while advancing peace, security, and development. Member States can take proactive steps to foster a robust international AI ecosystem. Building consensus on ethical AI use and unified risk mitigation approaches is essential. The proposed Global Digital Compact Office could enhance UN coordination, ensuring AI technologies respect human rights and support sustainable development. Multi-stakeholder collaboration should remain central, incorporating perspectives from governments, private sector, and civil society to uphold human dignity. Member States should prioritize equitable access to AI benefits by investing in data access and capacity building initiatives. Establishing frameworks for cross-border regulation is crucial to mitigate risks like monopolization and ensure fair competition. Public-private partnerships can bridge the technology gap for developing nations. Prioritizing human judgment in AI systems reinforces respect for rights and addresses biases affecting underrepresented communities. Fostering transparency and accountability builds trust, ensuring alignment with societal values. Robust accountability frameworks and national policies aligned with human rights standards are essential to prevent potential abuses. Gender equality must be considered in military AI applications to protect women and girls in conflict zones. Member States must strengthen safeguards against AI misuse, particularly in areas like surveillance and encryption. Independent oversight mechanisms can ensure that military applications of AI uphold global legal and ethical standards. By balancing AI capabilities with ethical use, we emphasize human oversight, transparency, and accountability. In conclusion, President, the responsible governance and development of AI hinges on collaboration, ethical oversight, and adherence to international law. Let us work together to advance safe, trustworthy AI technologies that support peace, security, and development for all. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Malta, and I now give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Secretary Blinken. Let me start by thanking the US Presidency for convening this important meeting and for the international leadership you have shown in the field of AI governance. That includes the first ever GA resolution on artificial intelligence. I'm also grateful to Professors Leone and Professor Lee for their insightful briefings. And I would like to pay tribute to the Secretary General for his consistent campaign to bring to our attention the major opportunities and significant risks of this transformative technology and to shape the international response. It is 18 months since the UK convened the first Security Council meeting on the security implications of artificial intelligence. As the SG said, things have moved swiftly since then. Significant progress has been made in international collaboration, including the UN Global Digital Compact and the UK-initiated AI Summit series. In addition to the US GA resolution, we adopted the Chinese-led resolution on AI capacity building, both by consensus. And 2 Nobel Prizes were awarded to AI innovators, both to British scientists. Today, I will focus on our priorities for peace and security, the opportunities AI presents in this field, and how we can share those benefits through capacity building. First, the UK recognises that AI brings risks that could escalate conflicts and cause harm. But it also presents significant opportunities to support international peace and security, including better decision-making, improved early warning systems, and enhanced planning to support resilience and emergency preparedness. The UK welcomes progress to increase international understanding in a military context through the Responsible AI in the Military Domain Summit and the US-led political declaration on responsible military use of AI. The GA resolution on artificial intelligence in the military domain presents an important opportunity to advance efforts for AI's safe and responsible development. AI also offers significant opportunities for peacekeeping. AI can improve missions' data collection, analysis efforts, and their situational awareness and decision-making. The UK is therefore, at the request of the UN's Department of Peace Operations, authoring a paper on the potential uses of AI in peacekeeping. Second, President, AI presents huge opportunities for broader areas that impact on peace and security, such as the enjoyment of human rights, by facilitating greater access to information or improving interpretation of medical data to aid early health diagnoses. As an inaugural signatory to the Council of Europe's AI Convention, the UK is committed to protecting from the risks posed by AI to human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. Finally, the UK is also committed to sharing these opportunities through capacity building. It is important that in contributing to international peace and security, we aim to narrow digital divides. Through the AI for Development collaboration, the UK has donated £58 million to funding multidisciplinary responsible AI research in 6 African countries, with more planned for 2025. Ultimately, we must seize the opportunities and grasp the challenges of AI, including those for international peace and security, decisively and optimistically. And I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United Kingdom, and I now give the floor to the representative of the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to begin by expressing my gratitude to the United States for convening this important meeting. I extend my sincere appreciation to the Secretary General for his insightful briefing. I also thank Dr. Yan LeCun and Dr. Fei-Fei Li for their valuable contributions. As an ultimate enabling technology with multiplier effects on all elements of national power, AI has an immeasurable potential impact on international peace and security. As pointed out by many of us at the first Council briefing on AI last year, it can promote international peace and security in various ways, and also as outlined by the Secretary General and the Secretary Blinken today. At the same time, AI can exacerbate risks such as the proliferation of WMDs and sophisticated cyber attacks when used by irresponsible actors such as North Korea, who is engaging in crypto heists to finance WMD programs. AI can also be an unstoppable spreader of disinformation and misinformation or guard against them. To ensure that AI fosters prosperity and benefits rather than posing risks to humanity, it is critical to ensure safe, secure, and trustworthy AI, as well as its responsible use, while promoting innovation. In this regard, the Republic of Korea is actively making efforts to ensure that AI will be conducive to international peace and security. In 2023, we co-hosted the first Responsible AI in the Military Domain RE-AIM Summit with the Netherlands. In May of this year, Korea hosted the AI Seoul Summit and adopted the Seoul Declaration, which underscores the importance of safety, innovation, and inclusivity in AI global governance. In September, we co-hosted the second RE-AIM with the Netherlands, Singapore, Kenya, and the UK. The summit culminated in the adoption of the Blueprint for Action, which contains a contemplation on the impact of AI on international peace and security, and the key principles for the responsible military application of AI. In October, at the General Assembly First Committee, the ROK and the Netherlands introduced a resolution on AI in the military domain and its implications for international peace and security. Based on the overwhelming support for this resolution from 165 member states, we are ready to continue to promote discussion on this topic. Mr. President, based on these efforts, I'd like to emphasize the 3 points today. First, AI application must be ethical and human-centric throughout its entire life cycle. To this end, AI applications need to be developed, deployed, and used in accordance with international law, including, as applicable, the UN Charter, international humanitarian law, and international human rights law. In this context, Korea has been introducing the biennial resolution in the Human Rights Council on new and emerging digital technologies and human rights since 2019. Second, we need to identify, internalize, and operationalize relevant principles to ensure responsible AI. We believe that the key principles laid out in the Blueprint for Action from this year's ReAIM Summit in Seoul can serve as a valuable stepping stone for the international community to achieve the responsible use of AI in the military domain. Third, it is absolutely essential to share information and strategies among all stakeholders, including governments of developed and developing countries, industries, academia, and civil society, to promote a collective understanding of AI technology and its implications, as well as to grasp each other's priorities and approaches, because no single country or entity can govern AI alone or establish relevant norms. To this end, the Republic of Korea plans to launch capacity-building initiatives next year as a follow-up to the ReAIM Summit. Mr. President, in his final book, Genesis, Henry Kissinger observed that AI could fundamentally challenge the entire international system, including even the Westphalia system itself. We are not now only starting to comprehend the profound implications of AI. Facing the immense promises of AI, countries can react differently. Some may focus on safety, some on innovation, and some on finding the best application. But future challenges to international peace and security involving AI can come not only from humans abusing AI, but also from AI being out of human control. And in this hyper-connected world, AI can be a potentially unpredictable threat, as its knowledge can be unlimited, its applications underguided, and its sphere of influence unbounded. Our best hope against this potential boundless threat is borderless cooperation by the peoples of the United Nations. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the Republic of Korea, and I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, we thank the Secretary General, Mr. Guterres, and the briefers for their contribution to the discussion. The Russian Federation attaches a great deal of importance to the development of advanced technologies designed to serve for the good of humanity, including artificial intelligence. At the same time, we are invited today to discuss it in the context of threats to international peace and security. Recalling the past discussion, I'm sure that we can all agree on one thing. We cannot allow AI to dominate human beings and human values. But when it comes to what threats there are on the path to this, there is no unanimity forming in the Council. I would like to begin by saying that we were interested to look at the concept note of the Presidency. In the questions that are proposed, we can see an entirely expected idea, namely, how can we ensure that an international system for AI governance is developed and at the same time make sure that some sectors or states do not fall under that governance? Sounds familiar, no? In this context, I would like to recall similar approaches from other spheres that appear today in all their glory. If, for example, we were to talk about the international trade system, we could recall the Atlantic Charter of August 1941 that contained a reference to the principles of non-discrimination and market efficiency, which formed the basis of the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade and then the WTO. And what do we see today? The USA, that was at the origins of this process, having ensured their leadership in global trade and not wishing to accept their waning domination, are now blocking the work of the WTO and expanding the practice of illegitimate sanctions and other illegal means to take on their competitors. Another example, the fight against climate change. American scientists and politicians did indeed make a sizable contribution to forming their sort of religion of climate alarmism. And what do we see now? The USA is not hesitating to destroy the long and hard-built global climate cooperation in those areas where it contradicts their interests. And another interesting fact, in recent years, on their territory, the United States has only increased the extraction of hydrocarbons and is expanding their export, of course, with the use of measures of unfair competition. Let's take a broader example. For many years, we were told that the process of globalization would bring the benefits of development to peoples if it were governed by the principles of democracy and the laws of the free market and the inviolability of private property. So-called summits for democracy were held. However, today, it is no secret to anyone that Washington is trampling the principles and foundations of sovereign equality and now also the inviolability of state property, having, together with London and Brussels, openly looted foreign gold and currency reserves. As a result, using the words of President Putin, in the existing world order à l'américaine, there is only one rule, that there are no rules. Mr. President, of course, the US's ambitions to think about the fate of all of humanity in the age of the rapid development of AI are entirely understandable to us. At the same time, for the country that initiated today's discussion, it's important for them to understand that their previous approaches of imposing rules on others and at the same time freeing themselves from those rules would be to repeat historic mistakes on the path towards the development of global cooperation. If we were to look at the initiative of the United States on AI in the General Assembly, then it is weighed down by those very selfsame mistakes. And here we have in mind the American resolution of the General Assembly on artificial intelligence, Resolution 78/265. It speaks very eloquently about promoting a fair, open, inclusive, and non-discriminatory business environment to economic and commercial activities. Unfortunately, in actual fact, the authors of the resolution continue to get rid of competitors in bad faith. For example, the Bureau of Industry and Security on the 11th of December took the decision to blacklist another 4 Russian IT companies. One of them is Entech Lab, which specializes in facial recognition. It is known for the fact that its team made the top 5 of the finalists in the MegaFace competition organized by the University of Washington, having beaten a competitor developed by developers from Google. How do you like that fair and inclusive environment? No, colleagues, that rate of progress, as was the case with the agrarian and then the industrial revolution, again, will only be achieved by the flowering garden that only wants to think about how to extinguish the flame in the jungles. Mr. President, we have an opportunity to pool our efforts and together to prevent the Global South from falling behind and to avoid new forms of colonialism and discrimination, because it is deepening the existing technological inequality that constitutes one of the main threats to the development of AI, and also including a threat to international peace and security. The transition to AI-based innovations requires us to overcome the so-called digital divide in order to reduce poverty and facilitate sustainable development. And that divide is indeed vast, because according to forecasts, global state investment in artificial intelligence could reach $632 billion by 2028. The undisputed leaders in this area are the United States, the countries of Western Europe, Japan, and South Korea. And that's without mentioning the private sector, first and foremost the major tech companies like Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, and Amazon that are planning to allocate around $250 billion to the creation of AI infrastructure by 2025. Of course, the countries of the Global South also have their leaders in this area, namely our partners in the BRICS, China and India, but the majority of developing countries do not have the necessary resources for just such an acceleration. For that acceleration, international cooperation is needed, aimed at the transfer of technologies, the development of human capital, the creation of the necessary infrastructure, and increasing the quality of jobs. In that regard, the Russian Federation, among the like-minded group created upon the initiative of China, participated in the development of General Assembly Resolution 78/311, enhancing international cooperation on capacity building of artificial intelligence. That is in line with the priorities of our national artificial intelligence strategy. We intend to provide the countries of the Global South and East with technical assistance to carry out joint projects based on equal access to knowledge and technologies, and it is on the basis of these approaches that last week in Moscow a conference took place entitled AI Journey. Having your own latest generation AI developments is one of the key conditions for the scientific and technological sovereignty of any country. Moreover, we would like to report the launch of the International AI Alliance of National Associations and Development Institutions in the field of AI from BRICS countries and other interested states. At the same time, we are convinced that AI system algorithms must be trustworthy. That is to say, they must be understandable, open, and unbiased, and must be developed taking into account the cultural and national specifics of countries and each civilization, and in accordance with their history, identity, and traditions. As regards the UN's coordinating role on artificial intelligence, we, in line with the provisions of the Kazan Declaration of the 16th BRICS Summit from the 23rd of October, support it as a counterweight to the various non-inclusive formats with a politicized agenda and ad hoc coalitions. At the same time, the key thing for us is reaching universal agreements with a leading role by states based on an equal dialogue among those states, of course, with the necessary account of all the legitimate interests of the participants in the negotiating process. As is understandable from our previous arguments, we do not see the Security Council as the appropriate format for considering AI as an individual subject. It is a global issue, and limiting the discussion to Security Council members would not be right. The Summit of the Future already outlined the contours of the nascent infrastructure for considering this subject in the UN system, and the Security Council is not part of that. Mr. President, given that some colleagues insist on discussing the military aspects of the use of artificial intelligence in the Security Council, we would like to recall that for this purpose, there are also inclusive specific platforms. First and foremost, the group of governmental experts on lethal autonomous weapon systems within the framework of the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. And incidentally, they still have to come up with a general understanding on even the most basic issues, even on terminology. We welcome the consideration of this subject also within the UN Disarmament Commission, but without duplicating the efforts of other mechanisms. We believe it is premature to discuss the development of rules for responsible behavior when it comes to weapon systems using AI. Against this backdrop, taking the discussion on such sensitive issues to other formats without even considering the impact of AI technologies on other non-proliferation and disarmament aspects is premature to say the least. Attempts to shore up in the Security Council the approaches and directives of specific states and also to substitute them for international legal instruments is hardly going to bring us closer to forming joint approaches to the subject of the military use of AI. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation, and I now give the floor to the representative of France.
Secretary of State, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, I must first and foremost thank the Secretary General for his statement. I also wish to thank the various briefers today for their briefings and their comments on this important issue. Artificial intelligence is one of the major revolutions of this century. It is already transforming our daily lives, our economies, the functioning of our societies, and our institutions. As a result of the opportunities for development that it creates, the use of artificial intelligence is a major challenge. It is vital that we understand the magnitude of that challenge and that we accompany that resolution such as to ensure that it benefits all of us. Mr. President, our priority must be to put into place for AI an inclusive, multi-stakeholder form of international governance which is responsible and which respects fundamental rights. As initiatives aiming to regulate AI abound, it is important to work together to avoid a fragmentation of normative systems that would lead to competition between rival and divergent models. We must ensure that the development of AI is accessible to all states and peoples across the globe and that it does not widen digital divides. These are concerns that were at the heart of the Global Digital Compact adopted by consensus with the Pact for the Future last September. It is with these goals in mind that France will host in Paris on the 10th and 11th of February a global summit for AI. One of the primary goals of that summit will be to help to forge a common bedrock for governance. This summit will bring together states, international organizations, businesses, the technical community, researchers, and civil society stakeholders. The goal will be to make progress with defining a common vision for a trustworthy AI, an AI which serves the common good. This summit will also aim to explore essential issues such as the environmental impact of AI or market concentration. Mr. President, the development of artificial intelligence has significant implications for international peace and security. We welcome the fact that the Security Council continues to deepen its discussions on the issue following the holding of a first meeting on the matter in July 2023. Certain threats for international peace and security can be amplified by the misuse of artificial intelligence. Generative AI tools are, in particular, used as part of disinformation or information manipulation campaigns designed to destabilize societies or states. In cyberspace, AI improves the capacity of malicious actors to pinpoint and exploit the vulnerabilities of information systems. The Paris Summit of the 10th and 11th of February 2025 will be a tangible opportunity to address these challenges. Against that backdrop, France actively supports international efforts aiming to promote responsible usage of AI and a use of AI which is in accordance with international law in the domain of peace and security. To this end, we co-sponsored the resolution of the applications of AI in the military domain presented to the First Committee of the General Assembly by South Korea and Netherlands. France will also continue to support work undertaken in Geneva to guarantee compliance with international humanitarian law in the potential use and development of lethal autonomous weapons systems. The decision to use force must always ultimately be one for which a human being is responsible. That was recalled by the Secretary General. Mr. President, as part of this work, the Security Council must also continue to improve how it considers AI. Whether we be talking about challenges linked to AI in peacekeeping operations or thinking about how to harness the potential of these technologies, for example, for monitoring the implementation of sanctions regimes. Thank you.
France, and I now give the floor to the representative of Guyana.
Thank you, Secretary of State Blinken, and I thank the Presidency of the United States for convening today's meeting. I also thank the Secretary General as well as Professors Leone and Lee for their insightful briefings. Mr. President, we are in an era of rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, a development that holds the potential to significantly enhance our global outlook. Many members of this Council, both past and present, have advocated for an evidence-based approach to decision-making. AI offers a unique opportunity to respond to this call, potentially revolutionizing how we tackle issues related to climate, peace and security, and the fight against food insecurity, among others. The emergence of AI, however, has undoubtedly created new vulnerabilities, which this Council must acknowledge and consider mitigation measures that could be implemented to safeguard international peace and security. Mr. President, this meeting is being held in the context of increased global conflicts, with AI playing a central role in what is now deemed the age of cyber warfare. Several examples exist of states augmenting their military arsenal with cyber capabilities. AI, therefore, risks complicating the maintenance of international peace and security due to concerns about its role in offensive and reprisal attacks, including using drones and facial recognition algorithms. In the case of the Middle East, for example, we have heard reports of civilians being monitored and sometimes attacked using drone technology. AI weapons are also being programmed and authorized to select their targets without further human authorization, increasing protection concerns. In addition, AI-piloted fighter jets and sniper drones have shown substantial capability of dominating human pilots in simulated interactions. These concerns engendered by modern warfare must be addressed through the appropriate global regulations. These concerns were also underscored in the Secretary General's new Agenda for Peace, which noted that, and I quote, developments in artificial intelligence and quantum technologies, including those related to weapon systems, are exposing the insufficiency of existing global frameworks, end of quote. Guyana acknowledges these concerns and underscores the need for the Council to give attention to AI governance, given the implications for the maintenance of international peace and security. As we have heard before, the General Assembly is already being proactive on the subject of AI, with its adoption of the 2 resolutions presented by the United States and China, respectively. The recently adopted Global Digital Compact also offers practical recommendations for enhancing international governance of AI. An international framework for AI governance will ensure the full and equal representation of all countries, thus creating opportunities for harnessing AI to bridge existing gaps between developed and developing countries. Mr. President, Guyana welcomes the establishment of the Secretary General's high-level advisory body on artificial intelligence, which launched its final report in September to address the global governance deficit of AI. Among the recommendations in the report, Guyana eagerly anticipates the creation of a global fund for AI. This fund, specifically designed to help developing countries, will be critical, especially for small developing states who are at risk of not benefiting from AI owing to the digital divide. We must ensure that AI benefits everyone and not accelerate inequality. This is why the proposed creation of an AI capacity development network for UN-affiliated capacity development centers is welcome. This approach can serve as a catalyst to align national, regional, and global AI advancements with positive implications for the implementation of the 2030 Agenda and the Pact for the Future. In closing, Guyana acknowledges that AI's rapid development and deployment have elicited both enthusiasm and anxiety. We must therefore develop the necessary innovative and inclusive frameworks for AI governance and cooperation to ensure that AI is used as a force for good and to mitigate its harmful use. Guyana therefore urges the Council to consider how it could advance the recommendations, including those tabled in today's meeting, to further this work for the maintenance of international peace and security. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Guyana, and I now give the floor to the representative of China.
Thank you, President. I thank Secretary Blinken for presiding over this meeting. I thank Secretary General Guterres for the important statement. And I also thank Professor Yan Lequan and Professor Feifei Li for their important briefings. At present, with the development of AI accelerating and its role as an enabler ever increasing, AI has become an important force to promote social development and progress. AI technology is like a double-edged sword, which could become a conducive force for social governance and international security, or become a source of threats to fairness and justice and a source of danger to peace and stability. The international community should jointly strengthen the global AI governance to ensure that AI development is in conformity with the common values of mankind and that AI is safe, reliable, fair, and under control in a genuine manner. China has been exploring the scientific path of AI development and governance in a responsible manner As early as 2017, the Chinese government issued the development plan for the new generation of AI, clearly indicating the need to address the double-edged attributes of AI with a view to preventing risks to the greatest possible extent. In 2021, China released the Code of Ethics for the new generation of AI, integrating ethics into the entire life cycle of AI. In 2023, the Chinese government issued the world's first ever legislative document on generative AI. China has been constructively engaged in the global governance of AI. In October last year, President Xi Jinping proposed the Global AI Governance Initiative, comprehensively illustrating China's position from three dimensions, that is, development, security, and governance. The resolution on enhancing international cooperation on capacity building of AI, which was tabled by China, was adopted by consensus at the 78th session of the GA. Later on, China proposed the action plan on AI capacity building for good and for all, and promoted and established the Group of Friends for International Cooperation on AI capacity building. Recently, at the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro, President Xi Jinping stressed the need to strengthen international governance and cooperation on AI and ensure that AI works for good and for all, rather than becoming a game for the rich and the powerful. Under the framework of BRICS, China and other members agreed on the establishment of an AI study group for information exchange and technological cooperation, with a view to formulating AI governance framework, norms, and standards enjoying broad consensus. On the military application of AI, an issue with significant implications on the future and destiny of mankind, China has demonstrated its vision and sense of responsibility as a responsible major power. In 2021, China submitted to the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons a position paper on regulating the military use of AI. We maintain that all countries, major powers in particular, should adopt a prudent and responsible attitude in the military development and use of AI technology, comprehensively assess the pros and cons as well as consequences, and respect in real earnest the security concerns of other countries so as to avoid misunderstanding and miscalculations and prevent arms race. It is imperative to constantly improve the safety, reliability, and controllability of the relevant technologies to ensure that they are under human control and to oppose the misuse, abuse, and proliferation of such weapon systems. Not long ago, the heads of state of China and the United States, at their meeting in Lima, recalled the dialogue and cooperation between the two countries in the field of AI and affirmed the need to address the risks of AI systems, to improve AI security, and to enhance international cooperation for AI to be for good and for all. Both leaders stressed that a prudent and responsible attitude must be adopted in developing AI technology in the military field. Both leaders affirmed the need to uphold the decision that nuclear weapons must be under the control of humans. The law of scientific development has shown that in order to solve problems in scientific knowledge and progress, one should neither stay idle without even trying, nor stop eating for fear of choking. In view of the rapid development and use of AI technology, China has the following proposals for the international community. First, establishing clear guidelines. Security and development must be given equal attention. Smart governance must be in place, enabling better anticipation and control of risks on the one hand, and encouraging technological innovation and peaceful use on the other. It is imperative to abide by the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, observe the basic norms governing international relations, and ensure that AI technology will not become a tool for waging wars and pursuing hegemony. It is imperative to follow the people-centered approach, abide by the international humanitarian law and ethics, ensure human dignity and human rights, and refrain from indiscriminate use, abuse, or misuse of such technologies. Second, improving governance measures. It is necessary to actively develop reasonable and feasible technologies for AI governance, establish risk assessment and testing systems, and conduct hierarchical management by category. Relevant laws, rules, and regulations must be in place. Education and training targeting practitioners must be strengthened. Prevention on both the human front and the technological front must go hand in hand to prevent systematic risks brought by hacker attacks or data fraud, among others, and diminish the proliferation risk of AI's military use. Third, strengthening international cooperation. AI technology is not a cake for a small group of people, nor should its global governance be determined by just a small number of countries. China firmly opposes the practice of imposing on others the rules formulated by a small number of countries or creating small circles targeting certain countries. China firmly opposes discriminatory barriers based on ideological differences, which undermines the right of all countries, developing countries in particular, to use emerging technologies on an equal footing. Decoupling and building small courtyards with high walls runs counter to the laws of market economy, undermines the international economic order, and disrupts the stability of the global production and supply chain. Only by learning from each other between the East and the West, implementing joint governance for good and for all, seeking the greatest common denominator and expanding cooperation, can we embark on the right path. With widening technology divide, digital divide, and AI divide between the North and the South, it is important to uphold cooperation, enhance the representation and voice of developing countries, and implement the GDC so that AI technology could benefit the developing countries. In this regard, as the most universal, representative, and authoritative intergovernmental international organization, the UN should become the main channel for global AI governance and coordinate major issues related to the development and security of AI. As a major power on AI, China stands ready to actively support the relevant work of the UN and contribute to the establishment of governance norms enjoying universal participation and broad consensus. Thank you, President.
Thank the representative of China, and I now give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Your Excellency Antony Blinken, Secretary of State of the United States. I thank the United States for convening this important meeting at a critical juncture as we face what the Secretary General aptly described as an era of epic transformation. And we thank the Secretary General Antonio Guterres for his remark. I listened carefully to Professor Jan Leca and Professor Feifel Lin. Mr. President, artificial intelligence is changing not only our lives and work, but also the peace and security paradigm and landscapes. While the opportunities are immense, AI can help predict conflict, enhance peacekeeping, improve humanitarian response, and accelerate sustainable development. The risks are equally significant. Three fundamental challenges are before us. First, a growing AI divide that threatens to leave developing countries behind. This is not just about machines and algorithms. It is about sovereignty itself. It's about security. It's about the sacred right of nations to chart their own courses. Second, a digital landscape with new threats where AI-powered border-proof attacks can damage societies and manipulated information can poison minds. Third, the development of AI systems without adequate safeguard, potentially escalating conflicts and threatening international peace and security. Let us be clear. International law is not optional in this new frontier. The UN Charter, humanitarian principles, human rights, these are not suggestions. they remain also the foundation of any AI for military application. Mr. President, Algeria approached these challenges through strategic initiatives that bridge security and development. Our national research and innovation strategy on artificial intelligence 2020-2030 provides a comprehensive framework for responsible AI development, supported by our National Scientific Council for AI and specialized higher education institution. Earlier this month, Algeria hosted the third African Startup Conference, bringing together over 500 startups from 50 African countries, demonstrating our continent's unified commitment to develop AI ecosystems that serve our people's need while respecting security imperatives. Mr. President, Africa's continental artificial intelligence strategy and digital compact are not only policies, they are our vision of AI intelligence as a force for peace, for security, for positive transformation, to turn this vision into reality and respond these challenges. 5 key measures are important. First, create inclusive international mechanism for AI security expertise, where developing countries are not just observers, but equal architects of our shared future. Second, establish a global framework for responsible AI that balances national sovereignty with international cooperation, not one at the expense of the other. Third, launch targeted capacity building programs in AI education and security assessment, because knowledge is not only power, it is survival. Fourth, develop transparent protocols for international artificial intelligence safety cooperation, because in the digital age, transparency is not optional. Last and fifth, build robust digital infrastructure and support developing countries in creating artificial intelligence strategies, because no nation should be left behind in this revolution. Mr. President, the time has come, not tomorrow, not next year, but now, for a binding framework that prevents the misuse of military artificial intelligence in ways that violate international law, international humanitarian law. Look at what we have already achieved. This year, adoptions of the Comprehensive International Convention on countering the use of information and communication technologies for criminal purposes, led by Algeria, my country, proves that meaningful multilateral actions is not just possible, it is imperative. The choice before us could not be partial. We can let artificial intelligence deepen the inequality and create new security nightmares, or we can harness it as a force for peace, for security, and for development for all nations. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria, and I now give the floor to the representative of Sierra Leone.
Thank you and welcome to the Council, Mr. President, Excellency Antony J. Blinken, United States Secretary of State. Let me also thank the United States Presidency for convening this important high-level meeting on artificial intelligence and the maintenance of international peace and security. I thank His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for his insightful briefing. We take note of the thought-provoking contributions of Professor Ian Lacoon and Professor Feifei Lee. The topic for today's high-level briefing is not only timely, but highly relevant, as we acknowledge the significant implications of AI on the global landscape and present-day realities. This includes its potential to transform societies and economies, and equally, the risk it poses to peace and security, particularly when misapplied in military context. The rapid development of AI technology, as highlighted in the outcomes of ongoing international dialogues, including the Secretary General's July 2023 policy brief and the Global Digital Compact annexed to the Pact to the Future, the General Assembly resolutions led by the United States and China present both tremendous opportunities and significant challenges. AI holds the potential to address a wide range of global issues within the framework of sustainable development. However, as AI becomes increasingly pervasive, we must also recognize its ability to disrupt peace and security in both civilian and military domains. It is in this regard that Sierra Leone is of the view that AI can play a pivotal role in maintaining peace and security by enhancing decision-making, improving situational analysis and awareness, enabling proactive conflict prevention and management. We therefore fully support the referenced ongoing international dialogue and initiatives, including the high-level advisory body on AI, which underscores the importance of creating a robust international ecosystem for AI governance. Mr. President, as our briefers and other council members have already noted, AI holds immense promise for advancing sustainable development, improving governance, and fostering peace. However, its unregulated deployment risks exacerbating inequality, fueling conflict, and undermining the dignity of human life. For post-conflict and developing countries striving to sustain peace, the stakes could not be higher. For the African continent, the misuse of AI poses unique risks. In most parts of Africa, where digital infrastructure is still developing, there is a growing vulnerability to AI-enabled disinformation campaigns, which could destabilize fragile social fabrics and undermine democratic processes. Additionally, the potential militarization of AI, if left unchecked, could exacerbate regional insecurities, threaten peacekeeping, and endanger civilian protections. Accordingly, the principles outlined in the African Union Peace and Security Council's communique on AI, adopted on 13th June 2024, are particularly resonant for Sierra Leone. We strongly agree that AI should be human-centric, prioritizing the well-being of people over the interests of technology companies or military objectives. This includes addressing concerns about bias in AI systems, ensuring the rights to privacy, and protections against the use of AI for surveillance and other forms of social control. The AU's emphasis on responsible development and governance of AI aligns with our belief that the international community must act proactively to ensure that AI is developed and deployed in a manner that promotes peace, equity, and global cooperation, while preventing its misuse. The key aspects of the AUPSC AI communique include instructing the African Union Commission to undertake a comprehensive study on the impact and implication of AI on peace, security, stability, democracy, and development in Africa. Mainstreaming AI in all peace processes, including facilitating its integration in peace-building initiatives. Leveraging AI for mediation, reconciliation, and post-conflict reconstruction. Develop frameworks to oversee the responsible integration of AI in military operations, as well as ensuring compliance with ethical standards and international humanitarian law, amongst others. Sierra Leone therefore has and remains supportive of initiatives at the international and regional levels that call for timely action and cooperation to ensure the deployment and use of safe, secure, and trustworthy AI systems for sustainable development and peace. It is critical to expand participation of all countries, in particular developing countries, in digital transformation to harness the benefits and effective participation, including by capacity building. Promoting knowledge-sharing activities and the transfer of technology and mutually agreed terms is an important aspect of capacity development. Further, AI capacity building should not only be about technology transfer, but also about building local expertise, strengthening regulatory frameworks, and ensuring that countries have the necessary legal and institutional structures to manage the risks associated with AI. This will require coordinated efforts from international organizations, including the United Nations and regional bodies like the African Union. We therefore support the establishment of a global AI fund, as proposed by the High-Level Advisory Body on AI, to ensure that developing countries have the resources and technical support needed to safely and effectively integrate AI in our economies and societies. Mr. President, in addressing the key questions for today's briefing on how AI can contribute to the maintenance of international peace and security, Sierra Leone wishes to underscore the following 4 points. Firstly, on conflict prevention and early warning system, and while respecting the principles of the UN Charter, AI algorithms can analyze vast data sets, including economic indicators, political events, and social media trends to predict tensions, potential conflict, or instability. Also, machine learning models can detect patterns of escalating tensions by monitoring inter-area troop movement or trade disruptions. Furthermore, AI can identify regions at risk of instability and suggest optimal allocation of humanitarian aid or peacekeeping resources to prevent escalation of potential conflict situations. Secondly, AI can facilitate diplomacy and conflict resolution through analysis of data to identify areas of misunderstanding or potential consensus. Additionally, AI can gauge public and leadership sentiment in conflict regions, helping mediators design more effective peace-building strategies. Thirdly, AI can assist in optimizing the deployment of peacekeeping forces by analyzing data on conflict intensity, geography, and logistics. More importantly, AI systems can process real-time input from civilians and organizations to map conflict zones, refugee movement, and humanitarian needs. Fourth and finally, as AI technologies become more integrated into military applications, with the evident risk to international security, the use of AI in military systems, especially autonomous weapons, must address the profound concerns regarding accountability, the potential for unintended escalation, and compliance with the law on the use of force and international humanitarian law. The military application of AI should be governed by clear international standards that prioritize human oversight and adhere to international law. There must be transparency, dialogue, and multilateral engagement on this issue to ensure that AI in the military domain does not contribute to destabilization or the erosion of international norms. In closing, Mr. President, Sierra Leone is fully in support of peaceful uses of AI, especially in terms of enhancing peace building and sustaining peace initiatives. This is why we collaborated with Slovenia and Switzerland in calling for joint action to implement the Secretary General's new agenda for peace during our August presidency of this Council. Within that context, the aforementioned trio of countries, and during the Swiss presidency in October, we also called on the Council to act early and manage uncertainty by seeking expert advice and collaborate with academia and research institutions to provide the Council with evidence-based information and other relevant assistance to help prevent conflict. AI can ultimately assist in this regard, and I thank you.
I thank the representative of Sierra Leone, and I now give the floor to the representative of Slovenia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank the Secretary General for his briefing. I also thank Mr. Lecoun and Dr. Lee for sharing their perspectives. Slovenia considered it very important that the voice of all, including those from the private sector and academia, who are the engines of fast development and change, are heard in our deliberations on digital and emerging technologies. Mr. President, the magnitude of the artificial intelligence revolution is evident not only in its impact on our social fabric, our economies, science, and increasingly warfare, but also in the parallel efforts to establish effective governance. We still consensually adopted General Assembly resolutions on AI, and the adoption of the Global Digital Compact earlier this year, the United Nations has recognized its unique convening power and taken the lead in the global conversation on AI governance alongside various other initiatives. Moreover, important work within the UN is underway regarding the establishment of a global dialogue on AI governance, and rightly so. AI governance is becoming increasingly essential to global stability and requires inclusive multilateral engagement at all levels, including within the Security Council. Mr. President, as the Secretary General has noted, artificial intelligence represents both the greatest opportunity and at the same time an existential threat. When it comes to global stability, AI can, on one hand, be harnessed positively, for example, to support efforts for conflict prevention and peace building. On the other hand, AI can enable complex, cross-border threats such as cyber operations, disinformation campaigns, violent extremist content, and terrorist propaganda. It can be used to fuel the proliferation of autonomous weapons, further complicating efforts to ensure oversight and accountability. Therefore, we strongly believe that the Council's primary role in maintaining international peace and security necessitates addressing AI-related risks to ensure that AI is designed, developed, deployed, and used in full compliance with international law, in particular international humanitarian and human rights law. Mr. President, the risks are not speculative or distant. They are a reality in contemporary conflicts such as Gaza, where reports indicate that artificial intelligence is being used as a tool to identify targets, particularly in densely populated residential areas, resulting in significant civilian casualties. In this regard, we advocate for the integration of AI-related discussions into the Council, including through briefings like this one, to ensure that members pay attention and provide responses to these risks within existing Council mandates, as well as other geographic and thematic issues. By fostering synergies to strengthen AI governance for international peace and security, we reaffirm the Council's complementary role in supporting the efforts pursued in the General Assembly and other fora engaged in AI governance. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Slovenia, and I now give the floor to the representative of Japan.
Thank you, Secretary Blinken. Japan appreciates the U.S. presidency for taking the initiative in organizing this meeting. I also appreciate Secretary General Guterres, Professor Yan Du-Kam, and Professor Fei-Fei Li for their informative and insightful inputs. Mr. President, we have a common understanding that AI brings both opportunities and risks. Depending on how it is used, it can bring prosperity or pose a threat to humanity. Irresponsible use of AI in the military field could lead to the outbreak and escalation of conflicts. The misuse of AI can cause dissemination and spread of disinformation, thereby undermining democracy and abusing human rights. In the non-military domain, we must ensure safe, secure, and trustworthy AI while maximizing its potential and mitigating its risks. The rule of law and human security should serve as the foundation principles when we develop and use responsible AI. Japan has been pursuing an AI strategy, underscoring a society where human dignity is respected. It is also essential to close all digital divides so all countries and people can utilize AI without being left behind. Digital cooperation, including capacity building and infrastructure development related to AI, should be promoted. From this perspective, Japan co-sponsored the UN General Assembly Resolution 78/265, adopted this past March, which was a major step forward. Let me thank again the US for spearheading this effort. The Global Digital Compact adopted last September will also serve as a policy guideline for the future efforts. Mr. President, with respect to AI in the non-military domain, we see a growing need for building up global discussions on AI governance. It is also important to ensure interoperability among different AI governance frameworks. Under the Hiroshima AI process, which was launched last year under Japan's initiative, the international guiding principles for all AI actors and the International Code of Conduct for organizations developing advanced AI systems were developed. We are now promoting their implementation, including through the Hiroshima AI Friends Group, and will continue to cooperate to realize safe, security, and trustworthy AI. Mr. President, to ensure responsible use of AI in the military domain, appropriate measures should be implemented throughout the life cycle of military AI capabilities. Our commitment to uphold human-centered principles and apply international legal obligations, including international humanitarian law, is essential. In this vein, Japan supports the initiative of Leone and the political declaration on responsible military use of AI and autonomy. Regarding lethal autonomous weapon systems, the group of government experts should continue to play a central role. Japan will actively and constructively contribute to the effective cooperation for the sake of implementation by the whole international community. Mr. President, in conclusion, AI has broad and diverse impacts in unexpected ways. As expressed at its high-level briefing in October, the Security Council needs to systematically consider the impact of scientific and technological developments on international peace and security going forward. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of Japan. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is thus adjourned.